Glad to have you join me once again on Housing Development, your authoritative source of housing information in Nigeria and beyond. I am your housing diva, Fonahanmi. Today on Housing Development, we shall take a look at the effect of democracy on housing development from the return of democracy in 1999 till date. We'll also be setting an agenda for the next FCT and housing ministers. On Voices on the Streets, Nigerians will be speaking on democracy and housing as a preferred solutions to the government. This and more come your way right after the news making rounds in the sector.
Members of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers (NIEV's) Abuja chapter have urged the federal government to embark on critical projects that will boost the real estate sector and stimulate the economy. NIEV's chairman, Abuja chapter Adebanjo Adeleke, who made the call at the Breakfast Summit for Heads of Practice organized by the chapter, also called on estate surveyors to enter into partnerships to enable them to render quality services to their clients and society. Adeleke lamented that over 90% of estate firms in Nigeria are operating sole proprietorship, which makes some people not have confidence in them. He implored members of the profession to ensure that ethics and standards are maintained, saying it is the only way to move the industry forward and bring young ones into the profession. Adeleke also lauded the removal of fuel subsidy, saying that it will enable the country to have money to build infrastructure, adding that their members are coming up with strategies to ameliorate workers' welfare. Experts in the built industry have stated that the recent interest rate hike by the Central Bank of Nigeria was detrimental to developers and the country's mortgage system. The Executive Secretary of the Association of Housing Corporation of Nigeria, Toye Eniola, said higher interest rates on loans would hamper housing development. In the same vein, a project engineer, Michael Akimpelu, said the implication would be very dire. According to the Treasurer, Nigerian Institute of Building, Philip Ayotunde, the interest rate hike is expected to result in elevated expenses for construction materials. Ayotunde added that this would lead to an increase in the overall cost of constructing buildings and potentially give rise to the surge in the number of abandoned building projects. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria last week increased the benchmark interest rate by 50 basis points to 18.5%. Operators in the real estate sector have expressed their apprehensions that the removal of petrol subsidies would exacerbate the country's housing deficit. This is as a result of the declaration by President Bola Tinubu during his inauguration speech on May 29 to end petrol subsidy regime. In his reaction, the Chief Executive Officer of Ace High-Tech Construction Company Limited, Adewumi Okupe, said the removal of the subsidy would trigger prices of building materials to rise and worsen the country's housing gap. Also speaking, a former president of the Association of Town Planning Consultants of Nigeria, Moses Ogunniran, said housing delivery would be affected by the removal of the petrol subsidy. Meanwhile, the Executive Secretary of the Association of Housing Corporations of Nigeria, Toye Eniola, told newsmen that the fate of affordable housing was clouded.
For more details on housing news, do well to visit www.africanhousingnews.com. Affordable housing development is still a major challenge in Nigeria, especially with the huge housing deficit. Over the years, there has been various interventions by Nigerian government to address the issue of housing shortfall in the country. The question is, how well has democracy improved the housing sector? This report coming up takes a look at the housing sector in Nigeria from 1999 till date. Let's have a look.
Nigeria is perhaps the fastest urbanizing country in African continent. One of the most important challenges facing the country is the provision of affordable housing. This report will take a look at housing development in Nigeria from the democratic dispensation 1999 till date. The Obasanjo government was marked by the establishment of the Federal Ministry of Land, Housing and Urban Development and the proposal of multiple housing reforms, including the restructuring of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. These policies also became an offshoot of professional bodies like the Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, HDAN, and the Building Materials Producers Association of Nigeria, BUMPAN. During this period, the Federal Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development was established from the then Federal Ministry of Works and Housing. The period between 2004 policy focus was on the private sector to serve as the main catalyst for housing delivery in Nigeria, while the government concentrates on the provision of basic infrastructure and housing development. Issues in the Land Use Act were equally given attention for review, as well as the financial structures such as the FMBN and provision of incentives to developers in form of tax holidays for 5 years. The Nigerian housing policy in 2006 was as a result of earlier policies and programs to adequately resolve the backlogs of housing problems in the country. This policy came up with some transitionary strategies in which government made significant efforts in partial disengagement into housing provision and encourage privately developed housing. Under the policy adjustments, such as the almatization period, which was 25 years under the previous policy, was jacked up to 30 years interest on NHF loans to PMIs was scaled down from 5% to 4%, while the lending rate contributors is reduced to 6% from previous 9%. In 2007 to 2010, during Umar Musa Yar'Adua's administration, while there were no grandiose ambitions about housing, one of the points in his famous 7-point agenda was land reforms. While hundreds of billions of dollars have been lost through unused government-owned land assets, changes in the land laws and the emergence of land reforms is opposed to optimized Nigeria's growth through the release of land for mass housing, commercialized farming, and other large-scale businesses by the private sector. Final results is supposed to assure improvements and boosts to the production and wealth creation initiatives. Unfortunately, he didn't live long enough to see this through. On 18th April 2009, when the National Technical Working Committee under the Housing Thematic Area of the Vision 2020 was inaugurated, they were asked to make recommendations towards the contribution of housing towards the Vision 2020 goal of the federal government. Part of the major vision was to make the housing sector part of the top 3 major contributors to the nation's economy by adding 10 million affordable homes to the national housing stock by the year 2020. It was suggested that for Nigeria to meet up with its housing needs by the year 2020, the federal government must provide the legal and regulatory environment that would attract public-private partnership (PPP). In 2012, Goodluck Jonathan announces that the federal government was committed to revolutionizing the housing sector by translating the National Housing Policy and National Urban Development Policy into a roadmap for housing development in the country. In line with this, NMRC was established for mortgage refinancing with the support of World Bank. The Buhari-led administration introduced new initiatives to tackle housing delivery, like the Family Homes Funds and National Housing Program, with construction ongoing in about 34 states. The Federal Integrated Staff Housing in 2016 and My Own Home Scheme in 2017. With the new administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it is, however, important to note that the government needs to focus on other components of large-scale housing developments like land, finance, infrastructure, building materials, and labor in order to completely achieve delivery of affordable housing in Nigeria.
That is a report on the dividend of democracy in the area of housing Nigerians. Moving on, Housing Development Network Ambassador Idris Fonahanmi, in this exclusive interview, set agenda for the next FCT Minister as well as Minister of Housing.
Many administrations have come and gone with promises upon assuming office to secure the city of Abuja and improve infrastructure in the entire territory. However, road mishaps escalated and crime rates have continued to soar as a result of defective traffic and street lights that became prevalent. Housing Development Advocacy Network HDAN Ambassador Fonahanmi Idris, in an exclusive interview with Housing Development Crew, said the qualities that the new FCT minister must possess are networking and productivity, adding that this present administration is all products of the National Assembly, and whoever would be the FCT minister must be able to liaise and network pending plans and programs that will aid and support the development of FCT, especially the housing sector.
It will be a good opportunity for whomever is coming to FCT as minister to be able to network, liaise, to get all the pending plans and programs that will aid and support the development of the sector in FCT. In the past, there have been a fantastic idea during the times of Jeremiah Hussaini, Abba Ghana, and all of that, even to the time of El Rufai, whereby people, they open up the space for people, the private sector to thrive. Some parastatals agencies of the FCT are giving support to have cooperative to borrow, secure mortgages, build and create enabling environment for them to strive.
The HDAN ambassador noted that the new FCT minister must be the one who has hands-on experience and capacity to deliver on this mandate and grow the housing sector.
We will be expecting a minister that has hands-on experience and capacity, to deliver on this mandate and grow the sector.
The incoming Minister of Works and Housing also has a bigger task because he will be expected to coordinate with all state governments.
He must be able to network and work with all state government to deliver on the mandate of housing. And before now, there are a lot of pending policies, pending acts that are before the National Assembly. Housing has a big and wider multiplier effect on everything, even including security. They have some agencies under the housing, like Federal Mortgage Bank. Capitalize them, put enough funds into them, let them grow. Like the FHA of housing, make use of them, let them grow. Other private individuals, private companies, how can you work with them? Cooperatives. So those are the things. It's multidimensional.
He also recommended that the Housing and Works Ministry should be separated, saying they are both germane portfolios.
Welcome back. You're watching Housing Development. Available statistics indicate that in the last 10 years, housing production still stands at less than 100,000 units per year in Nigeria. Even with such figures, how many of the houses built are affordable to the low-income earners? The focus of the developers should not be for the high end of the society, but majorly for the low-income earners. How can the government attend to the housing needs of the masses? Let's hear from the people on Voices on the Streets.
Nigeria is currently having a housing deficit of about 17-18 million houses that need to be built to provide the accommodation for Nigerians. Actually, the reason for this lapses is because government over the years have not been doing enough to make provision for accessible houses to Nigerians, especially even the working class. So I think government can start now to make provisions for land, for affordable land for people to build houses. They can also make available funding for people to be able to access, especially the working class who have a monthly salary.
They have to start working on strategies on land allocations and the expenditures, because most places, they, inside Maitama, Gwarimpa, Asukuru, is very high. So they have to value the land issue, because the problem is from the land. Getting the land in this city is very high, is very on the high side. So they have to start from that place, before we go to the materials. So the problem is from the FCTA, they have to work on the land devaluation, on the price, so that people, the less privileged, can be able to acquire land and build.
What I will advise, especially the incoming government, to do is to see that they make it mandatory that no matter the level of one's income, the houses should be affordable for them to afford, because that is the most vital thing about life. So that is the advice I can give to them. I believe by so doing, every one of us will be able to have access to a good house unit.
The Ministry of Housing should, go into develop areas, give it a good layout before people start building houses. I once lived in 1004 housing estate. It will not cost government anything to build and give to the people, so that they can, also pay, in form of mortgage. The people, the company that are handling it now, they are Sherlocks. Government, they take from government and build houses that are now affordable. And so you see a lot of houses that have been built, duplexes that are not affordable. So they just remain there. And so it is for us to say that at this present state of our life, we should still be facing such challenges.
Voices on the Street there. While we talk of affordable housing, it doesn't mean substandard housing, as we have seen in most cases. I'll be back in a moment.
The Africa International Housing Show, AIHS, is the #1 event for the housing and construction industry in Africa. Attending AIHS is the right move for you. Housing and construction shows are the epicenter of the industry. They are filled with attendees that are just like you. It is your #1 opportunity to exhibit, network, make sales and build relationships with other professionals in your industry. This event creates the avenue to meet your next business partner. You may learn from a fellow professional. You may meet a professional that provides you with a business solution. Meet that potential buyer for your products. Meet a strong investor that will take your business to the next level. AIHS focuses on every aspect of the built industry and market and bring an entire industry together. There is no better place to gain an overview of the industry and to take a deep dive into the industry with exhibitors you talk to, product demos you experience, education sessions you sit on, and everyone you meet during AIHS. Check out your competitors. AIHS is the perfect window to see what your competitors is doing. This gives you the opportunity to find out what is working for them, so you can leverage this information to make educated business decisions about your own products, service, or business. Face-to-face interactions are priceless. The Housing and Construction Show gives you the opportunity to sit down face-to-face with prospects to convert them to customers. You will be interviewed at the venue to talk about your goods and services, which will be aired on AIT and TVC. AIHS is the best place to be, the first to discover upcoming trends, new products and services, and everything that is happening or about to happen in the industry. To learn more, visit our website www.africahousingshow.com.
Well, it is countdown to the 17th Africa International Housing Show, a unique one-stop event for construction industry stakeholders, real estate developers, furniture companies, home decor and technology manufacturers, as well as suppliers, building materials manufacturers, as well as suppliers. Africa International Housing Show is the largest exhibition and conference in Africa. Now here are testimonials from exhibitors that attended the last AIHS.
This show has been amazing. I would say that I've actually learned a lot and networked with a whole lot of real estate developers out there. So it's been insightful so far. Like, I'm really overwhelmed. Really overwhelmed. I've learned a lot.
We must thank Abuja Housing Show for giving us this opportunity. And we are so pleased to interact with the people in the audience here. They are showing a lot of interest and curiosity. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
I am so particularly impressed by the content of delivery. First and foremost, the awareness, the publicity. Prior to this time, I have 3-4 partners who have called me to remind me that they have seen adverts of Abuja International Show on television, on news media. Am I going to be here? I was really amazed that if people that are in the sector are so aware of this, then the organizer of the event must have done a lot to get people's attention, and that's quite a commendable feat.
Abuja Housing Show is a very productive event. You come around here to meet over 50,000 persons. It's been very productive. I mean, since we started coming here, there has been a greater brand awareness, and you meet the corporate world, you meet the public, you meet the masses, and then you do business in a great way and in a special way. I think that's part of the reason why we're here.
Very impressive. Absolutely impressive. Every year, this exhibition keeps growing bigger. Greater attendance, global attendance, and this is an improvement of the very excellent one we had last year also.
It's very amazing. It's an amazing experience so far. The turnout has been good. We've been getting a lot of customers coming up, and overall it's been amazing so far.
I can tell you authoritatively that I have met my expectations already, because what I have seen, the kind of people, caliber of people that have come around here, people are enthusiastic about what we do. We've taken people to sites, they've gone there, and I can tell you that we have made sales. That's the most important thing, and I'm happy to report that. So I'm a happy CEO, I can tell you.
quality and affordable housing is a key element of a strong and secure society. Housing for all is our advocacy on this program. On that note, I say thanks for watching Housing Development. Join me same time next Wednesday. I remain your housing diva, Fleur Ani. God bless Nigeria.